All right, here we are, episode 49 of Merriwether's World. Absolutely astounding.
That's wild.
I remember like episode 12 thinking, how have I managed to do this? And then I did. So anyway, howdy. I see that we have no one yet, but that's okay. So just a brief introduction. For those of you who might be showing up for the first time, my name is Dr. Mark Merriwether Vorderbruggen, author of Idiot's Guide Foraging, creator of Foraging Texas. And tonight, my special co-host is Professor Brandon Laurie. The bearded, everyone goes crazy. Oh, hey, cool, we got people. Hey, Ben, hey, Dana, hey, Kevin, hey, Kiri. Cool, sup. Hey, Jackie. All right, so let me, post something here quick. So again, we are mini weather free. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to do the best we can without her magnificent. Oh, it's up there. Okay, cool. So yeah, we're already having problems, but so be it.
We'll make it.
Yeah, we can. We're prepared.
For the most part. That's good.
Okay, so like normal, start with a few housekeeping type things just to update you. Let you know that a bunch of classes are coming up. So go to the Foraging Texas website for the complete list. And what are you doing here? Why is that doing that? I don't want that. Okay, I'm back. I hope I'm back. Yep, I'm back. Hey, Wade. Hey, Kathleen. Hey, Kenneth. Good to see you. Hey, I'm going to scoop your name. I'll call you Miss Ramos. Hey, Kevin. So first, of course, I need to do a shout out to the general sponsors of the show. So, whoops. Pardon me.
No.
Of course, Uncommon Bees. Bees. Where is the other one? Okay, so I'm looking at everything backwards.
Oh yeah, we are.
And there we go. Now I got it. So Uncommon Bees, there's a link there. All sorts of wonderful infused honeys with all sorts of different herbs for all sorts of different sort of uses. And of course the CBD infused stuff and lots of other things. And what's great is if you order anything from them between now and midnight, you get I believe it's a 20% discount. It might only be 15, but you get a huge discount if you use the secret code Forking Weeds. So there's that. Also herbs up in East Texas, the herbal shop there. Orders from them with the Forking Weeds secret code gets you 10%, something like that. So different amounts. Always good. Hey, John. Hey, Nancy. Cool, man. We got lots of people here tonight.
Awesome.
Oh yeah. Okay. Uncommon Bees is here tonight. You're not Uncommon Bees.
No.
You're the bearded hobbit.
Yeah,
if we stood up, you would understand.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
But so Uncommon Bees confirmed 20% off. What else? Yeah. Oh, classes. Like I said, I got some coming up. Two I want to talk about in particular. First, this weekend for you Austin people, I will be again at Vista Brewing, which is an absolutely fantastic place, not only to learn wild edible plants, but to drink. A good thing, because they do all sorts of amazing custom small batch craft beers. And then the other coming up, I guess I should have put the date on this, but it's March 21st, I think, out at Deer Lake Spa or Deer Lake Resort and Spa, which is an amazing place.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's I tell people. So this is where was it Matthew McConaughey and Sandra Bullock and people like that go to recuperate from the extremely hard life of being a star.
Yeah.
Something I know nothing about. But anyway, I can't guarantee you'll run into anyone super famous if you attend the class there. But you might.
Well, you'll run into you.
If I were famous, I wouldn't have
I'd say you're
a
famous.
bed sheet as my backdrop. But anyway.
maybe you would.
Maybe I would, yeah. So there's that. Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, Deborah. Okay. Those two classes. I know at the Austin event this weekend on Sunday, there are 2 slots open for the morning class. And by morning, it starts at 11. So it's like morning class.
lunch.
And then the afternoon class, I think there are 3 slots open. But then there's a whole bunch of other classes beyond just these 2. But I just wanted to pull those out just because they're good classes and special places to go. All right, so there's that. I also, I'm just going to put this up. I think I might have put it up. I'm going to put it up again. So this is Professor Laurie's wish list and some things like that. For some of you like what you see tonight, which I hope you do, you can say, hey, thank you, and, throw stuff their way.
Yeah,
cool. Always cool. But, we're not asking you to do it, but, it's karma and all that. So anyway, all right, enough pandering. So, hey, Matthew, hello from Beaumont. Hey, nice place. Hey,
cool,
Chris, watching, listening. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Hey, Cammie, lots of people showing up. Good.
Yeah.
All right, so probably that tonight's show is about preparing for bad things.
Yeah.
Kind of the end of the world sort of thing. Not saying the coronavirus is going to end the world. We probably won't be that lucky.
Yeah. Meteor 2020, something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
But I do have an update here of what's the latest on the coronavirus from the World Health Organization. I'll tell you right now, finding truthful information on this is really hard.
It is.
Because, like in the China, they got to make
Change
it look like
numbers, unfortunately, that was the case. And so the fact that you got it from WHO, that's awesome, because they weren't reporting anything for a long time. Because I was looking for it as well.
Oh, well.
And then I see that you've got it pulled up, and so
let me
that's
just
great.
put a link to that. So, and they have a daily update. So the important numbers, if you will, the current rate of fatality for the coronavirus or the COVID-19 is believed to be 2.5%. 2.5% of the people don't make it. To put things in perspective, the flu, just traditional influenza, it has a mortality rate of 0.1%. So it's a significantly larger than the regular flu. But SARS has a fatality rate of 10%. That was the one that came out a number of years ago. And also Ebola has a fatality rate of 90%.
Yeah, it's on up there. Yeah.
So, we're nowhere close to Ebola or SARS. The problem is the spreading rate and the infection rate is what's bad with this, with the coronavirus, especially since it has, a 1 to 2 week period where you may not be showing symptoms, but you are shedding, the bugs everywhere, so causing problems there. The other thing that disturbed me about the coronavirus is it's now showing that it is starting to induce, and I'm going to screw up the way this word is pronounced because I've only read it. You might know this word because you're like, a biochemist. Cytokine.
Yeah.
One of the many reasons I have him around. He corrects my English. Yeah, so the Cytokine Storm. What this is your immune system, it releases certain cells to go out and attack the bad guys. That's a good thing. That's what it's supposed to do. There are times when it freaks out. Certain diseases like the SARS was a big trigger for that. But it turns out now coronavirus is starting to do that. And what it does is your immune system basically freaks out and starts attacking yourself and damaging the proteins. And that's what often leads to the death for like the swine flu and some of the famous historical flus with the real high mortality rate. What this means, if you were here last week when I was talking about herbs to help with the flu or coronavirus, I talked of a number of immune stimulators, things like echinacea and elderberry. Those are great before you have the flu to prevent you from coming down with the flu. But once you have it, now it can work against you because it makes your immune system more likely to freak out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So if you are sick, with the flu, and you are worried about the the effects, stop the elderberry, stop the echinacea. What's recommended now is non-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory herbs like turmeric and garlic are the big things. So you make yourself a big old thing of curry, and life is good.
Yeah.
I love curry.
It's always good if you have curry. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Sunday night is generally curry night at my house, as long as no one else is home.
Yeah.
Because I'm the only one who likes it. So on those lonely Sunday nights when it's just me, it's curry night.
I was just going to add to that. We were just looking up some flu numbers for my class because we were just talking about this and density-dependent factors and all these things. Anyway, we were looking up the death total of flu from, I think, the CDC of last year. And it was, I think the lowest estimate was like 29,000 people died from that in a year's time.
Is that worldwide or U.S.? Or?
I believe that's just U.S.
I can believe it.
And it's wild. And it's wild. So whenever you see some of these numbers coming out, you're like, okay, that's kind of... I mean, again, it's nothing SARS level, nothing crazy. I mean, again, we may hear those numbers and kind of freak out. But if we look at risk and we look at numbers... So far, it's looking okay.
Yeah.
It's
like
not
I said,
great.
the health dangers from this, like we were discussing, are something you may want to be alert of.
Yes, for sure.
The economic things is what's really bad because basically, China is shut down. The Chinese factories are shut down. China makes a lot of the stuff. And not just, like we were saying, we dated, I said, they don't just make CD players anymore. And he came, what's a CD player? But a lot of the medicines used in the United States come from China. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, not thinking this will cause a full-blown apocalypse, but if it were, you're in the right spot. Because tonight we're going to talk about preps for an apocalypse. The sort of things that you may not normally think of would be something worth having.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who grew up on the Road Warrior and all sorts of post-apocalypse, not the Twin Peaks, the Walking Dead and all this, have their certain ideas, lots of guns, lots of bullets, and away we go. Yeah, well, there's some other things that could come into play.
Beer and bacon. For
beer,
sure.
Definitely bacon.
All right, good night. That's it.
All right, have a great one. We got bacon cooking. No, tonight is going to be some other things that are worth having on hand to make your life easier when the zombies come. So I'm just going. Herbs is here too. So they're the herb shot I talked about. Hey Terry.
Cool.
Hey Rocky. I got to say some hello to all my friends here. Hey Heather. Oh man, haven't seen you in a while. Hey Fry. Hey Jonathan. Hey Bo and Nick. Oh cool. Right. This is a good show. We got lots of people we can milk for.
Yes.
Okay. I want you to start.
Yeah, I brought all kinds of stuff.
With the light.
With the light. Sorry. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Because...
Yeah, so...
Here,
No, we got plenty of space.
Okay.
And so one of the things that we always think about is flashlights, right? So hurricanes, power outages, whatever, flashlights, that's great. Have them on hand, have plenty of batteries, all that other stuff. However, one thing that I know myself and my buddy David, we usually try to bring little LED lights or something. And so cheap little... solar, the ones that have the stake in it that goes to your... Oh, yeah, and it's a weapon.
Yep.
So it's a weapon and a light that go in your yard. These are actually really handy. The only thing you have to kind of be cautious of is a lot of times the rechargeable batteries in here aren't the greatest ones, but you can purchase some really good ones pretty cheap.
And it's a little screwdriver. You can pop it out and put a little AA rechargeable in there.
Yeah, perfect. And these things last for a long time, particularly if you're using them in your house, right? And so just stick them out during the day, and then at night you can bring those in. Another thing that I just recently got as a gift was another solar light.
He gets good gifts.
I do. And so this one is one of those...
that's the inflatable one. He's not huffing, this is science.
Right? And then so the inflatable one. And so then you get your little light there, right?
So cool.
And so it'll float.
And it has a little hanging. It'll float. Yeah. So
the only thing that I'm still kind of interested in is the condensation buildup.
Yeah. So you rinse it out with vodka once a whatever.
Or fill it with vodka.
Or fill it. This is why he's here.
Genius.
Folks. Genius.
Yes.
Genius.
And now you having a post-apocalyptic party.
Best type.
Yeah.
Absolutely best type.
So solar lights are pretty handy, and I got to say the batteries on these last for quite a long time.
And these are what, $2-3 at Walmart.
Oh yeah.
While you can get them because they come from China, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, so having a couple of those on hand, I mean, are perfectly great. Yes. I always joke about, I'll just go take my neighbors. As soon as the world ends, I'm taking everyone's in the yard because they're not going to notice it.
Yeah, they're not smart enough because they don't follow us. They're not watching the show tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
I have a boring thing you should have. Soap. Soap. So, I mean, even now they're saying Americans in general don't wash their hands enough, don't know how to, keep the hygiene you need. Now, remember, in a post-apocalyptic situation, there's no antibiotics unless you've been watching some of my shows. Cleanliness is really important. I tell people that if you haven't bought at least one bar of soap for every box of ammo you have, you do not have enough soap. You need to stay clean in a bad situation.
Yeah.
And here's a trick from my Depression era parents. So when you get the soap, you open it and just let it, because soap has a certain amount of moisture in it. And by opening it, especially if it's sitting around for a year or 2 years, you're rotating through your stock of soap, but you have a big pile of it. But by opening it, it dries out some. It becomes a little harder. The end result is it lasts a bit longer.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, you have to work a little harder to get the lather.
Yeah, but still,
But
soap.
it's soap. Yeah. So, but you're not going to, it's not going to dissolve away as quickly.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
That's why you might have noticed, like, soap at the end of the bar doesn't lather quite as well because a lot of the moisture has evaporated away and so forth. But if you don't have a bunch of soap somewhere, you're going to die of an infection. And we don't want you to do that.
Yeah, because, we carry tons of bacteria on us. Some people are natural, like, staph carriers, right?
Oh,
and you might get a little cut. As long as you clean it and wash it, you're good to go. But if you don't, like you said, that's an infection right there.
And also, if oops, I keep drifting out of the camera here. If your immune system is kind of weak because you're under a lot of stress, it makes it that much more likely for an infection to get in there.
Absolutely.
So washing your hands, and actually with the coronavirus, they say the proper way of washing your hands is you want to sing the happy birthday song twice during the process. You can also do the alphabet song because it's about the same. But you want to do it twice. And I've started doing that, and it feels really awkward, especially like in the men's room at Buc-ee's or something. You're scrubbing along and scrubbing. But hey, it's what you got to do to avoid getting an infection.
And that's a proper way of, you should be washing your hands that way all the time, actually.
Not just when, life-ending diseases are around.
I've made an observation while at work. If I'm up there washing my hands and somebody walks up to wash their hands, they stay a lot longer if I'm sitting there washing longer, because then they feel like they should be. It's so crazy.
Oh,
if
wow.
you do
This opens
much longer,
up all sorts of social manipulation.
If you just keep doing it and just keep lathering, I've noticed
Especially
people
must get the blood out. Must be.
No, that's
and
a
then
whole
they
nother
run.
story. Yeah.
I've tried that one. It's kind of amusing. Hey, Travis, sorry, you are not chopped liver. I'm just having so much fun here that
my bad.
Yeah, so let's just take a quick here. Any question? Hey, Kathy. Travis, Kevin, always. Hey, Matthew. Yep. You can strap it to your head, water or a water jug. Always a good thing.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, Melanie. Good thing you are here. Oh man, you're going camping this weekend. I'm
Nice. It's a good weekend.
Hey, John. Hey, Herbs. Hey, Kyle. Hey, Cammy. Hey, Matthew. I think I said. Okay, I'm looking at any questions. Hey, Tommy. Oh, Ibiclens and dandruff shampoo. That's a good one. Hey, my brother Paul. That's actually my real brother.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of short because the name takes up that much of the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Uncommon Breeze brings up a really good point.
Okay.
He mentions that if you wash your hands too much, you end up with cracked skin, which now is an avenue for infections to come in.
This was one of the arguments against using hand sanitizer because it will overly dry your skin, and then that actually leads to more infection. That's why, like, soap has to have moisturizer.
Yeah, especially true soap. It's tallow or it's fat. In fact, one of the things going with my soap. I wanted to add another thing. If not only should you have soap, but you should know how to make soap.
Yeah.
And true soap actually has a lot of fat, tallow, lard, whatever in it. But yeah.
Very good.
Okay. Cool. Here, hey Paul. We'll say hi to Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hey Paul. Okay.
All right. So
throw something up there.
Sure. So in terms of all of this, if you're beginning your kind of prep, the most important thing to do at this point is not just go out and buy tons of gear, right? It's all about knowledge.
Yeah.
Right? First, you need to get into the mindset. You got to start thinking about what am I going to need? And so with doing something like this, it gets really tricky because every single one of you have something different.
The different situation.
Yeah, the way that you're prepping is going to be very different than the way that I am prepping. Even though there's a lot of overlap, each person is going to have to be way more individualized. Yeah. And so always start with information. And so one of the things that I thought about is if kind of the world goes to hell in a handbasket, we're not going to have access to all this information that you might need. So we can easily look up something on our phone right now. I'm like, oh, that's how you do A, B, and C. So a couple different solutions. Number one, you can simply get little books, right? And so that's always good to have on hand. One of the other issues you might run into, though, is there's only so many of these books you might could carry with you, or you may just have a huge stack of them. So one of the other options that I have, so this is the little SAS guide. It's a great little book. I have taken one of my older phones and I've started loading up.
Brilliant.
So, for example, on here, I've got a survival manual that's offline. I've downloaded. I was trying to connect to internet over here. Where There's No Doctor.
Good one.
Okay.
I got that. Yeah.
Nuclear war survival skills.
Another really good one.
Another great one. And so I've got a bunch of these PDFs. Just pull it off the internet. Old military, survival manuals. All those things are on here. And so now I have them on the phone. Now, the argument... Go ahead, Jess.
Oh, I was going to say, do you keep it in a Faraday cage?
I don't.
Ah, man.
Now, that is a weak point in mine. This is true. But again, the other issue is, well, okay, technology, the battery's going to die. Well, that might be true, but one thing about cell phones that are not connected to any of the cell towers and they're not pinging, turn in airplane mode, the battery lasts a really long time. And so... I also have part two, these little solar chargers. Yes. So I've got one that's like this. I've got one of the bigger Goal Zero.
Those are really nice for that.
These are really handy dandy.
Yep.
And so what it comes with is you can recharge batteries with it. And so that fixes some of my other issues, but there's a battery charger that comes with it. So you can do batteries, you can do your phone, all kinds of neat little stuff like that. But having this on hand... mainly is to kind of keep this thing going. And so then I can have that. And so if I feel like, the phone's about to die, I can always try to copy it or write down. But I've always got a lot more information here than carrying about 1 million books in a backpack.
Yep. Yeah, because just a combination of the phone and hold up the Goal Zero again now. Definitely. Now the Goal Zero, does it have its own built-in battery system too? Because I have one that has the panels, a built-in lithium battery, and all the ability to.
Yeah, this one just has the battery charger, so you can either plug in directly to the panel. You can plug this in, charge your batteries or your phone or whatever, and then this also charges your phone.
Right.
There's a light attachment. I mean, there's tons of attachments to it, and so I can charge AA, AAA, or whatever.
Yeah, and then you can use those to run
other little items. Yeah. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of a lot of electronics, during the apocalypse. But an old cell phone that works fine, they're pretty handy dandy.
I'm horrified because we have this stack of old phones that are just sitting there, and even old iPads and stuff. And I should just load them up. And then I mentioned the Faraday cage. Basically, that's just a complete metal enclosure to prevent any sort of electromagnetic pulse from either a solar flare or, God forbid, a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Sending out a huge electromagnetic pulse that, if you remember your high school physics, electromagnetic pulse hits wires, generates movement of electrons, lots of electrons, and just melts things. So
not good for the environment.
No, not good for a lot of things.
But yeah, knowledge is the key first thing you've got to do.
Yep. And along those, and I actually forgot to grab them. I was grabbing other things. There's a lot of good medical books out there. You mentioned Where There Is No Doctor, Where There Is No Dentist. Believe it or not, a lot of the Reader's Digest.
Really?
Yeah, medical books are absolutely fantastic.
Okay, I'll check that
back in the 90s, Reader's Digest came out with the Medical Association Home Medical Library. And it's like if DK Publisher, they did all the picture books and stuff, decided to teach you first aid. They are absolutely fantastic.
I got to find this.
Yeah, and you can find them on Amazon used for like $5 a book.
Sold.
And so I've been building my library of that.
That's cool.
In fact, at some point, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to run upstairs and get them.
Yeah.
But it's my turn. Let's see if there's any... hey, Christine, good to see you. Michael, always good. Melanie's still here. Yep. Okay, I know. I apologize if I'm skipping over questions, just because we got a lot of information. Ooh, Emily Garcia, how far away is a phone screen light visible? I'm assuming, Emily, you mean like from enemies. In that case, a long way. But remember, you can turn down the or you hide under a blanket while people are standing around guarding you.
On some of these, you can actually change the color and make it more red screen.
Oh yeah.
And so
Which also
and that'll help your
Okay, going back a little more primitive, another thing. Salt. Salt is cheap.
Yeah.
Salt has all sorts of purposes. Obviously seasoning food, replacing electrolytes, preserving food, preserving meat, making sauerkraut, gargling, first aid uses, tons and tons and tons. I mean, it's what, 50 cents for a pound of salt? Cheap. So, I mean, take out part of your drywall and fill it with,
stick some salt in there.
Spend the $20 and get, a lot of salt. And get a mixture of iodized, because you need that for your proper operation of your thyroid, and non-iodized salt. For the non-iodized, that's better for preserving meats and sauerkrauts and things like that.
Ooh, sauerkraut.
But yeah, at the end of salt is gold. The whole name salary, because that was the Roman word for salt, and they paid the soldiers a salary or a certain weight of salt. That's what you earned for fighting. So salt, have that. I got this one. Did you ever read the book Alas Babylon?
No, I haven't.
Oh, okay. Next time I can drag Brandon away from his family, we're going to do post-apocalyptic books.
Yeah.
But Alas Babylon, it was written in like the 50s, early 60s. We actually read it in my English class.
Oh,
my teacher was really cool. Yeah. And it takes place in a small town in Florida that it managed to avoid all the nuclear disaster from a war between USSR and us. But then the day-to-day problems they had after that, and one of the things was lack of salt.
Yeah.
So they actually sent a group out to this one salt mine type thing to try and get it, and bad things happen. But salt, there's so much you can do, and you can rotate through it. If nothing else, get some of the big bags of the water softener salt.
Yes.
I don't know if they still use that,
Yeah.
because that's dirt cheap for 50 pounds of salt.
Yes.
You do have to grind it, but it's still good. And the water softener salt isn't iodized, so you still want some iodized. But, as much soap as you have on hand, you probably want at least half as much salt. But pounds and pounds of it. Just so many uses, especially in a post-apocalyptic world.
One thing you mentioned, though, also is as a trade good. There you go.
Yeah.
Trade item.
People, coffee, salt, booze, they're all the big...
Items.
Yeah,
very.
And the nice thing about salt is they can't use it to shoot you later on.
This is
that's why people talk about I have bullets to trade. What do you? What?
Yeah.
I love people, but no, I'm not going to give desperate people ways of killing me.
Right.
It's just okay, Kevin, bug out or shelter in place. Ideally, sheltering in place.
Yeah, I agree.
You defending your place. If you're bugging out, at least grab one canister of salt with you, especially down here where it's hot in the summer when you are sweating. The electrolyte loss is serious. So, having some salt to counteract that. Every time you go to McDonald's or something, just grab a handful of those little salt packets. The problem with those is they're not watertight. I guess the cardboard isn't either, but at least it's something. Put it in a Ziploc bag. Call it good.
Yeah, we could do
salt doesn't go bad.
We could do a whole episode on cheap preps, like picking up little honey packets
from
different places, or salt or pepper. Yeah, all the time. Yep. Back to bug in, bug out. That's a whole nother episode, because the question is, when do you stay in and when do you bug out? And again, this is a whole series, man. There's no way to answer that one question. That's a difficult one.
Okay. Ooh, Dennis Cleveland has a good question. What wild edibles contain a decent amount of iodine?
I don't know.
Not many. Seaweed is probably about the only one.
I would think anything coastal, but nothing inland, right?
Yeah. Okay. Shellfish are, so the oysters and the clams and the things like that have it, but as far as plants, not a lot.
I wonder if you could. I know this saline content of fresh water is not very high. I think it's 0.05%, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Fresh water.
If you could boil it down like you do like macaroni, leave some behind and kind of get yourself some salt, but it's not going to be iodine.
Okay, that's good, but
Yeah.
you need energy to cut
Yeah.
the wood,
Yeah.
burn the wood time.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
you know, trying to
it's
boil.
negligible at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if you could get seawater and
Oh yeah, then
yeah,
you're in
there you're
business.
better.
Yeah.
Fresh water, I wouldn't bother with
Yeah.
because you're
That's
spending
true.
too many calories
Yeah.
that should be spent elsewhere.
Fair enough.
Oh, right. Yes, you can make a salt weapon.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Nice. One of the areas that I think a lot about, I have younger children, and so in like our hurricane prep box, I always have some activities for them to do or just something for them. And so I've kind of thought out kind of further down the road too, like, okay, one of the big things is, you know, staying busy and entertaining
the
to
way.
de-stress. To de-stress, stay out of the way.
Yeah.
And so a couple things on that. The first thing that I've done for again, hurricane box or just power outage, whatever, is
Glow sticks.
glow sticks. Kids love glow sticks,
Kids,
right?
I love glow sticks.
Yeah, I love glow sticks too. And so, yeah, if you're not worried about
flashback.
like,
But anyway.
yeah, right. Whoa,
Never mind.
man.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
ask.
that's another episode.
No, it's not.
But these are great for kids and adults alike, just for them to have something to do. Again, if you're like nervous about like people seeing you, then of course,
Yeah.
not so much.
Along the glow sticks, I really like the glow bracelets
Yes, I've got
because
some
you
of those as
can
well.
like. Do you have pets?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they're great. Like on cats, back when we had cats
Yeah.
in the power out, we'd put so I could see the cat in the night because you know cats, their purpose in life is to kill humans.
Oh yeah.
So at least I could see
You
them
know
trying
where-
to kill me.
Yeah, absolutely. Picked up some little coloring books and stickers and just something for them to do, right? Yeah, absolutely.
And like decks of cards.
Decks of cards. There you go.
And notice these are like trees and wild
Yeah.
berries and fruits.
Yep.
So you know they can learn for the post-apocalyptic world that
Yeah.
they're
Oh, yeah,
they're
for sure.
entering in. So.
And I recommend grabbing these and don't letting them know that you even have it. Like they're literally just tucked away, so then when they get pulled out, it's brand new.
Oh yeah.
Instead of like something you played every year and just this is something new. Yeah, that's what I
Okay,
think.
we're getting. How are we still getting stuttering here?
Uh-oh.
I don't know what's going on. I got green lights here. We're actually hardwired into the Ethernet.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
yeah, I apologize for stuttering. Okay, you can get salt from hickory roots. You've been reading My Side of the Mountain. The salt concentration is pretty low. It's like on par with purslane. Really, the coastal areas are where, I mean, well, there you have seawater. But you also have plants like saltgrass and sea rocket and glasswort that are high in salt concentration.
Yeah.
Purslane, the common summertime weed,
Right,
is also
yes.
fairly high. In
Okay.
Yeah.
Just no iodine.
No iodine. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I want to do one
Sure.
because so you may know, like my theory in the post-apocalyptic world is no one will shoot the doctor because they need you. They may enslave you and force you, you know, at gunpoint to take care of things. But that being said, that's still better than dying.
Yeah,
So,
I'll take it.
but also the ability to trade skills and knowledge for stuff is really good. So I have two daughters, beautiful daughters, and like all kids, these, you know, now in America, they needed braces, and so, you know, we got them braces, and then a week later, I was fired from my job, along with 80% of the company. It's not like they just fired me. I just want to make that clear. And so now my kids have, you know, these bands on them, and we were able to scrimp through and get to the orthodontist. But I was thinking, so what happens, you know, if for some reason we can't afford the orthodontist, or there isn't an orthodontist, is where it led to, you know, what happens because they don't want to spend the rest of their life with these braces on their teeth, gumming up things. So I looked on Amazon, and you can get a braces removal tool for $8.
Yeah.
And there are tons of YouTube videos showing you how to remove the braces from people.
Yeah.
And it's really simple, especially nowadays. They just like glue the things on. They don't have the bands around
Right.
the teeth like we
Yeah.
used to have.
Yeah.
So really, really handy. And so following that, I just got like a complete dental kit, and I'm not going to open it because it's still, you know, sterile and everything. So for like $30, I can be not only the community doctor, but the community dentist too.
Yeah.
Now, filling cavities and so forth, there are certain things, certain putties and so forth you can do
Yeah.
with that. That's a little more difficult, but if nothing else, I can yank teeth out,
Right.
or otherwise kind of figure out what the problem is and dose, you know, with the appropriate plant.
Right.
So yeah, a dental kit, and it's cheap insurance. And like I said, it's not just me, but there are a lot of kids in our neighborhood. They just built a new school that holds like 400 kids, and
Yeah.
they're all there. So I'm thinking there's a lot of possibility to
no doubt. To
offer
use
a
that.
surface of, okay, bring your kids here. We'll get those braces off, folks. And then, they're not going to get all the gunk, because
Yeah.
I'll have already taught them all to forage, so they
Yeah.
won't be starving.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt.
yeah. So yeah, cheap insurance, people don't shoot the doctor and people don't shoot the dentist. So, it's a skill set that you can use,
Mm-hmm.
especially as a trade good or to take care of your family or, people who have stuff to offer you.
Yeah.
I should have unplugged the phone.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of going back to that, for YouTube, you can actually download videos from YouTube in very small formats and then leave them on your phone as
Yep.
well. So that way you have that accessibility if you need
That's
it.
a really good. I am going to be awake for
Yeah.
the next 3 days
Yeah,
as I'm,
it's-
loading up all these.
It's kind of
things.
addictive because you're like, I need this and I need this. I need everything.
We got lots of comments here.
Oh, goodness, yeah.
Oh man, still broken feed. I do not know what's going on with the feed or the microphone. We got green lights on this end. We got the audio is looking good. We got a
Yeah.
good connection rate. The
Yeah, I don't
computer
know.
is only 30%.
I'm blaming it on Facebook today, guys.
Yeah, it's China.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
don't want us
yeah.
to know this stuff. Ooh, that could be a thing. Yeah, the denial of service attack.
Oh, could be.
Yes, Dana, don't forget the Bible.
Yeah.
Got that?
Yeah.
I got a little backpacking one, the zippers. It's waterproof. It's relatively indestructible. Okay, go for it.
A very basic one. And I did not bring my other one, but water filtration, right? And with any of these, the assumption kind of going into this is everyone is already preparing for food and water. Kind of got that. Although I did bring a couple things just to highlight that. But this is just a water straw, right? So I bought these, again, Amazon. Relatively cheap because the technology with the filters is pretty easy. So it's just a basic little water straw. But I bought a couple packs of these because I also have my kids. They have their own bug out bags.
Good.
And so this goes in each one of theirs. And so, like, if we get split up or whatever, they have all the stuff that they need to get food and water.
So these are filtration units.
Yeah.
They will take out bacteria, not viruses, and they don't remove chemicals. So
Right.
if there's a
Chemicals is
chemical
a big one,
communication,
yeah.
so you need to find a somewhat, I won't say fresh, well, it won't do salt water either.
Yeah.
So you need some sort of semi-clean water.
Yeah.
You stick it in and start sucking.
Some of them I do think take out some of the viruses.
Yeah, the smaller ones, or they have
But
like a silver.
You have to read, you have
Yeah.
to read up on which ones will do that and which ones won't. So
Yes.
yeah, check that out before you buy
The
them.
other important thing is don't let them freeze with water
Right.
in them,
Yes.
because that will
Yeah.
crack it
Yeah.
and remove all the filtration ability. So that's a good one. Let me put that up there. Keep talking about something while I get
Sure,
some
sure.
Amazon link.
Yeah,
ooh.
so this one, filters 1,000 gallons for this one, 99% bacteria and protozoan cyst. So this one doesn't do the viruses or anything like that. But yeah, it's a really good little product. Again, better than having nothing. Since we're talking about kind of food and water, one of my little hacks that I do is I have in my, again, kind of hurricane box or whatever, I have rice. And so I've taken it out of the bag and I put it into a plastic bottle. But what I've also done is I've marked the measuring so I know exactly how much 1 cup is. So I can just pour it out and then I've got it. On some of these,
Nice.
yeah, and so this one is how many cups of rice and how many cups of water. And so now I know it's all right. It's all there. And so, the little plastic bags that rice comes in, anything can get into there. It's a little bit tougher to get into this. Now, to make this probably even better, which I didn't do, is put an oxygen absorber in here. You can buy those really cheap on Amazon. But these get cycled out enough. This one probably is about due for that. You can see I put a little bit of a vacuum on it, just kind of squeezing air out and kind of closing it up.
Because air is the enemy. For
Air is the
food
enemy, absolutely,
preservation.
yeah. And so this is just really handy. I kind of like the Fiji water bottles because they're square, and you can stack those a little bit better. They
I like
fit
that.
better.
Yeah.
And so I've just been playing around with these bottles, so the Fiji plastic ones I like a little bit better. You can, of course, go buy better food storage containers and all that stuff, but this is just a free one, essentially. Just save those.
Yeah. Especially once you have teenage daughters.
Yeah.
They drink smart water.
This is true. So wait, does that make me a teenage daughter? Because
apparently so.
Oh no,
my new daughter.
Ah, all right.
Okay, I got something I had on my list that I don't have it to display because it's really big.
Yeah.
Simply shovels, not just a shovel, but at least 2 shovels.
Yeah.
So multiple reasons. I mean, obviously, gardening,
Yeah.
self-defense if you need it, but the main thing is hygiene. So one of the big problems, like in Haiti and other places that were destroyed by hurricanes and earthquakes, was the resulting cholera and things like that.
Yeah.
Because people didn't have a knowledge of how to dispose of their waste.
Yeah.
So one of the things I always was thinking I need to do is print up some big posters for like after a hurricane or something when the neighborhood loses the power for several weeks and put it, okay, this is how you get rid of your poop.
Yeah.
This is proper hygiene. Wash your hands 20 minutes, bury your poop. I actually got there's different websites that will tell you how to dig a latrine, which is very important because it's not just getting rid of the poop, but you're keeping the flies and other pests from getting on it and spreading the possible diseases. Because again, there's no antibiotics. You're already stressed out. You're much more likely to get sick. If you end up with the E. coli or something, you are screwed.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to need the salt. So shovels for digging latrines, gardening, and may God have mercy on the soul, but occasionally having to bury someone.
Yeah.
You want a decent shovel.
Yeah.
Trying to dig a hole with, like a entrenching tool or something. It's great if you're a military guy and you got air cover, but really, spend, the $12 on a decent shovel.
Absolutely.
And just store it in the garage. I recommend 2 because 2 is 1 and 1 is 0. Because one of the things with shovels is eventually the handle will break and then you're screwed. You got to carve a new handle or something like that. So at least you have a spare shovel to keep doing things. But knowledge of how to properly dig and fill a latrine, very, very, very important. Because the human waste is filled with all sorts of nasty stuff
it's terrible.
that you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, because whenever when anybody goes in, military or Red Cross, sanitation and water purification, that's your 2 big things. Because if those things get mixed up, it's bad news for everybody.
Yep.
No
So
doubt.
I volunteer at the local Red Cross shelter and for the hurricanes and so forth. And they're constantly making sure we're washing our hands.
Yeah.
Because the last thing we want to do is spread any disease.
Yeah.
So shovels. Get a shovel.
Yeah.
Get a decent shovel. Okay.
Yeah, I saw herbs. Yes, you're right. I like Sawyer's. That's really my go-to. The reason I grabbed a couple of these is just because they're easy to throw in my kid's backpack and they can use them really easily. Yeah. But you're right. I prefer Sawyer's, but I just couldn't pass these up, so they were cheap enough to throw in there.
Yeah. There was so Melanie points out the hand warmers, the little...
Yes,
they make
do.
great oxygen absorbers because they basically make heat
do.
by reacting with oxygen and iron to form rust.
Yeah.
And then you take the rust, you mix it with some sugar, some potassium nitrate. Well, that's a whole different class. There was another... a drop of dry ice if you can get it. Yeah. But Wade had a Berkeley. Wade Phillips asking Berkey waterfall. I have one. You have one too. The big you don't.
What? No, I don't.
Oh.
No, I don't.
Okay, yeah.
I need to put this on my list apparently.
Tap dance. I'll be right back.
No, I can go the next round.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go get my.
Yeah. Since we kind of started the video looking at the coronavirus, one thing that's also very important is personal protection equipment, or PPE. So latex gloves, I have a ton of those stuck in my garage, mainly for like painting and woodworking, but I've got tons of them because they're just cheap. And so that really does a great job of protecting your hands if you're having to do something specific, maybe blood or you're pulling teeth or whatever. The other thing, since we're talking about coronavirus, is some type of face mask, right? So always go with the N95s or better. And so that's what these are. But what I've recently purchased is more of a respirator. And you can really go down the rabbit hole on these things because you can purchase some amazing respirators that filter out all kinds of crazy stuff that you might need
That's
to
the
do.
exact one I would use at the chemical plant
Yeah,
when I was doing
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, they're once you purchase it, and it's relatively cheap to buy the cartridges
Yeah.
for it, and you can get a lot of different types of cartridges that go with this. Some of them are more full face, so depending on what the situation might be, you might require something like that.
So when we bring one thing up about
Yeah.
these is, so each year I had to get certified for the respirator use. And one of the things I did is make sure I had the proper sized respirator.
Yes.
Because they come in small, medium, and large, and they had to fit. And for some reason, my face always came out as a medium.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Now, here's the other problem that both you and I are going to have with these. Yeah. So
This has got to go.
Yep.
Yeah. If you need that.
Yeah, you have to shave because with facial hair you can't get the tight fit you need.
You need that.
So once a year I had to shave myself bald. I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going with a full Viking beard. It's
Oh
gonna
yes,
be
this would
awesome.
be I like that. Even with these, the one thing I see that where even when I'm using it just for woodworking, it's still getting in underneath. It's not nearly as much.
Yep.
But yeah, if you want these to be a very tight fit around your face.
And don't forget that little metal bar there. You're actually supposed to bend that to fit over your nose.
Yep.
So once you put that mask on, you pinch that metal part down to make
like
a tighter seal. So, yeah, something to keep in mind there.
Yeah. So get these now because they're a hot item apparently overseas right now.
Yeah, I know. Recently a tractor trailer of toilet paper was hijacked.
Really?
In China.
Okay.
So, yeah. Okay, so Wade asked about the big Berkeley. Where's the front? There we go.
Oh, okay.
So what this is, and I'll hold it up there. It's basically two metal cans. One fits on top of the other.
I got you.
And
Yes.
then they have these filters, and so you fill the top with water. And I don't want to take it apart, but I will for you all, because it is a little finicky. So it has, and I have a bunch of spares, but they basically they have these filters, and they have different colors. Like black is the finest and most expensive. It filters out all sorts of stuff, including some chemicals and things. But these will take manure water and turn them drinkable.
That's awesome.
But you put the filters in the top. You fill the top with water. The water goes through the filter down into the bottom. The bottom has a spigot, and you are good to drink. These are used a lot by missionaries, and I think they were originally developed by the English military, the UK, for purifying water in really, really low quality water areas.
There's so many cool water filters out there.
No.
There's have you seen the Grail water filter?
Oops. It sounds I've seen so many.
Yeah.
I will say, so
That one's
I
an
got
awesome
the big, heavy duty metal one. They make plastic ones. They're even online. There are directions how to take 2 5-gallon buckets and install these filters in the buckets.
That's cool.
To save you money.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
went
wanted
to
to
that
show
one.
that. Yeah, let's- okay. And then, a bit not cheap though. But hey, because it's not cheap, I'm going to put a link and hope someone buys it.
There you go.
Getting me 6%.
There you go.
Wow, Amazon already autofills a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna. It's gone up a lot. I wonder if
because
it's
it's
gone
good.
up because of what's going on in the world.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
But
Good stuff.
I've had
though.
mine pretty much ever since we moved to Texas. Let me just add this.
Yeah.
Whoops. That's my wife. She should know not to call me. What's really weird is I thought I put it in airplane mode. I have it in airplane mode. How did she text?
Is it?
It's actually
Is it internet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, still go through on Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Okay. Damn it. Oh, well. I love my wife. Skipping. Dang. Okay. So there's that. I want to do one now. So let me bring this up. So communications, knowing what is going on in the world when you're trapped in your little penthouse apartment with the zombies milling around down below. So I'm a big fan of shortwave radio. I have my ham radio license, but back when I was in the oil industry, I traveled a lot all over the world, and I always brought a little shortwave radio with me. I really like this one, and I will. It has AM, it has FM, so the normal transmitters,
Right.
but it's also capable of picking up pretty much most of the shortwave bands.
Yeah.
What's great about it is you just press the seek button, and it scans through all of them.
Yeah.
Memorizes where it heard something, and then you can go back and go through each one and see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
as
perfect.
opposed to the older school, which I also
Yeah.
had, which you have to just turn the dial and hope you find something. So
Yeah.
this, in 30 seconds, it will scan the entire shortwave frequencies, memorize where something was found, then you can go back, and then you can lock that memory in
Yeah.
for later. So what's also great about this one is it has, well, as an extra added thing you can buy for it is a little electric, 120 volt type thing. But it's designed so if you plug this in here and put rechargeable batteries in there, those are the end loop, it will recharge the batteries
Yeah.
and keep the batteries charged up.
Perfect.
So, yeah, and like AM, FM, the weather channels, the
Yeah.
NOAA type
Yeah.
stuff, and then all the shortwave.
Yeah. Batteries last forever in those things too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not you're just receiving. Yeah.
And one of the things it sends, so it has your regular little telescoping, but it also sends a little clip-on. It's probably 20 feet of wire.
Oh, you can just throw up in
So,
a tree.
Yeah. So
perfect.
Yeah. So really good, and so I'm picking up stuff, all over the world. I wish
Yeah.
I knew more foreign languages because I'm getting all
Oh, I bet you
sorts
do.
of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so some sort of communication. Like I said, this one I like just because it has that auto find feature that makes
Yeah.
life so much easier to just scan through. And whereas this one does have like the solar power, and it even has the crank. So if nothing else, if you really wanted to be luxurious in the
Yeah.
you would scan through, find the frequencies that there's stuff on, then turn this one off to save the batteries, and then
Just
with
use
the
that
old
one.
school, turn the
I
knob.
dig it. I dig it.
So let me post links to those. But yeah, shortwave radios, just to find out what's going on in the world. Really, really, really useful.
Yeah, communication is going to be super important because, I mean, just from the experience that I know both of us have had here with hurricanes, there was a time when there was just so many people on the cell line. So cell phones
Yeah.
were still working, but you couldn't get through. You could maybe send a text and it would go through in maybe 30 minutes to an hour. But if you're dealing with total cell phone outage, like you're not getting anything.
Yeah.
Right? So there's no real way to know what's going on. So having something like that radio that you can listen to the emergency broadcast, you at least have an idea of like, oh, I need to leave or I need to stay or
Yeah.
whatever.
Or some other country knows more what's going on in yours than
This is true too, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to follow up with that
Yes.
with some radios. And so you don't have to jump into... Yeah.
Let me say one thing.
Yeah.
The nice thing about these, and I already put the one back, you don't need a ham radio license. They're strictly receivers. You can't broadcast. So you can receive for free. You don't need any special license.
Correct.
As opposed to...
Yeah, so what I was going to jump into is you don't have to have a license to be getting on like any type of communication. If there's an emergency, however, you are allowed to use ham radios and all
Yep.
that stuff.
Yep.
But if you don't know how to use it prior to that, then it may not help you all that much. So I brought a couple different radios, and I'll go through them relatively quickly. Most people have something along these lines, the little handhelds that you might get for camping. This is one of the older models, and it has both the FRS and the GMRS. So it's just a basic little radios that you get.
Walkie-talkie.
Walkie-talkies. They're starting to split those up. FCC rules are splitting up the FRS and GMRS. But having just something simple like this could really pay off. They're not a huge... You're not going to get very far with them.
But you can usually cover a neighborhood.
But you can
or a
cover a
mile.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
You can, and depending on where you're at. I mean, you could get a couple 5 miles depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
But even just monitoring this. So just real quick, FRS is the family radio, no license needed. GMRS, you do need a license, but there's no test. You just pay $70 now
Is
for
it even-
10
yeah.
years.
Okay,
but it
yeah,
covers
yeah.
your whole
Okay,
family.
yeah, I was thinking it was like
Yeah.
$7 a year
Yeah.
or something like that. So.
And so these are great to have. I have upgraded to a higher wattage GMRS. So this is only one channel. and the antenna is detachable, and so that's why they're splitting it up.
Unscrew the antenna.
You can detach the antennas on these.
I just want to see what
ones.
connector is on it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can show. So Amazon sells all sorts of different upgraded antennas that will wire onto this.
Yeah.
That's the same. Like you see that
is the
pizza
same-
pan with the
it is the
antenna
same
attached
one.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It goes there. So
Yeah,
the
these are
antenna
fairly
is
universal.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the newer models are going to be doing just that. And so with these, with the 5 watt, you're going to get much further.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to kind of burst through. The last one, real quick. I don't have a license to use this.
I do.
But I can listen with it. And so this one will pick up FM, radio, as well as the other GMRS.
Here's
Yeah.
mine. I can't pull it because it's
connected.
There's got a long. See, there's a cable here, and it runs. Whoops! All over hell. Sorry.
But so this one you can listen to at least and get into those ham frequencies.
Yep. What's nice about these, this is the Baofeng UV5R. There's still a number of police and fire and EMS dispatches that have not gone to encrypted.
Correct.
And so with mine, I have it set up so I can listen to the Montgomery County and the Waller County and some of the Harris County. I can keep abreast of what's going on.
Yeah.
Things are happening.
Just, yeah.
It was funny. So, every so often I'll hear an address like, I know that road.
Right.
Or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I know some of you will probably give me hell because it's a Baofeng, but I'm sorry. It's just too.
It's $25.
It was too cheap to not buy one.
Yeah.
So if you are getting into the ham, you'll go down the rabbit hole of buying better stuff, no doubt.
I will say the issue with Baofeng compared to real ham radios is what are called secondary harmonics. The real ones, when you click the button, you speak, it sends out just that frequency. These, they send out that frequency and a bunch of side harmonic frequencies, which really annoy a lot of people that are, our real ham radio stuff. Yeah. They're great mainly for listening.
Yeah.
And in an emergency, go ahead and broadcast. Yeah. But otherwise, try and clean it up some. I've become a snobbish ham radio operator, so I look down on them, even though I have 3 of them.
Right.
And one of the nice things about these is you can program them by hand, but it's not just like putting in a frequency.
Yeah.
There's other numbers you got to include, but there's some really good software out there called Chirp that allows you to use both a Mac or a PC to program the radio and put all sorts of frequencies. And then, are you familiar with repeaterbook.com?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so repeaterbook.com, one of the nice things about that is a repeater is a radio frequency that, if you can hold that up again.
Sure.
So if you have the right codes and the right frequencies, when you broadcast on that, the radio waves go out and they hit this thing, usually on top of a water tower or another radio tower, that takes that signal and then rebroadcasts it.
Yeah.
Because the higher you are, the higher off the ground your antenna is, the longer the line of sight is. So you can extend the distance that you can speak with these if you know the code. So Repeater Book is just a list where you can download the files that list all the codes and frequencies and everything you need to contact the repeaters, which you then put in the program, the Chirp program, to upload into the computer. And it's awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's take a quick here. Hey, TC. Man, haven't seen you in a long time, friend. I'm just checking through questions. Oh, yeah, Chris Martin, he brings up the FEMA. Oh, and you're a member of CERT.
I am,
Yeah,
yes.
so the Community Emergency Response Team is a government training where they get you certified to basically rescue people. It's civilians who are trained in the art of taking care of other civilians in the case of a natural disaster.
Yeah. And what they said is, what he wrote was correct, is pretty much the government's like, you're on your own for a minimum of 72 hours.
Yeah.
So always have a 3-day prep.
3 days.
Yeah.
Wow, 8:58. We went through this. Yeah. Okay.
I've got one more real quick.
Okay, one more.
One more real
One
quick.
more.
Just
we
a-
might
just
go a
a-
little late.
just a
Sometimes the people don't mind.
Just a quick tip. Okay, so this one,
I know what you're going with this.
potato chips. Or is it really a secret way to hide candy from your kids?
Resealable bags.
Mylar bags. They're totally resealable. And so you can hide tons of stuff in here. Or just store whatever. Mm-hmm. So I did this with a piece of aluminum foil.
A Mylar balloon.
put over the top, hit it with an iron, resealed.
Yep.
And
Put an
so-
oxygen absorber in there
Yeah,
to keep your
it can be-
M&Ms free.
Yeah,
or-
just whatever you want to stick in
Yep,
there.
yep,
So
yep.
hide stuff.
You know, that's been great for, April is coming up. You open your bag of Lay's and pull out like carrot sticks.
All right.
That would be hysterical.
But I store, like, sometimes when I go camping, if I know it's going to be raining, I'll store, like, a lot of fire starting lint or whatever I've created in there and just seal it. And it's in my little bag. So good to go.
Now, the other question, because Mylar is conductive, will that work as a Faraday cage?
I've read where some people have tried it and it's worked, but I think some of that might be too small. I don't know.
Yeah, I was
That's-
thinking like
short
one of
answer
the
is I don't
bigger,
know.
but yeah.
But maybe a couple layers of it.
Yeah.
Don't know. Somebody smarter.
I
than
guess
me
you could put, the thing in that. Well, it's gonna, if nothing else, it's waterproofing the electronics.
Yeah, it's better. Probably better than nothing.
Okay. What else do we have? Oh, okay. One last thing, because we're gonna run a little late, and
yeah.
this is really, really, really important. A CO2 monitor. So
Yeah.
not the smoke. You should have the smoke detectors already, but the carbon monoxide. That's the number one killer of people during power outages.
Yes,
type
it
things,
is.
they're
Yeah.
decide, hey, I'm going to cook a steak inside the house and bring
Yeah.
their grill inside the house and
Yeah.
kill everyone with carbon
Yeah.
monoxide.
This actually just happened in Houston.
Oh, good.
This past couple days, a couple had moved into a home, and they were found later that night, and it was carbon monoxide.
It was up in Minnesota. They constantly have commercials, like for this ice fishing season. So people will
Yeah.
have their ice fishing houses out there, and decide to heat it with some Coleman lantern or something and end up suffocated.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little carbon monoxide monitor, just if you're planning on doing any sort of fire in your house, which you probably shouldn't be doing.
Right.
But if there's zombies outside or something.
But you kind of have to do that at that point.
Yeah. Okay, we've gone a little long. I apologize if we didn't hit all your questions. As usual, I'm going to go back and answer anything after the show.
Yeah.
But again, thank you very much
Thank you.
for coming along. Always fun.
Yeah. There's just so much to cover, man.
Yeah,
It really is.
I like the bug out bag idea.
Yeah, that's like
We need to do that.
because that's very focused, and we
Yeah.
can specifically talk about
Yeah,
that.
we can do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, figure out what your schedule is, and we can
Yeah, I'm down with
get
that.
you back. Awesome.
absolutely.
We are trying to save the world.
Yeah, a little bit at a time.
Oh, Teresa, man, you showed up right at the end.
Oh no.
Yeah, I like this, Matthew. Make sure it's a flavor that not even a desperate kid would eat.
That's what I thought today, and I was like, I can't think of any my son would not eat, because I'd usually be like, salt and vinegar. Nope,
Yeah.
he would eat that too. Yeah.
I don't know. That's why you need to get, some other Mylar bag, like
Yeah.
you
You can-
colostomy bag type.
Yeah, right. You
packaging
can
or
buy
something.
some fairly cheap just Mylar bags.
Yeah,
but I
like
mean,
just
if you're eating
seal it.
chips, these are free anyway.
Yeah. You gotta wash them out, but so be it.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Awesome. Thank you all for
Yes,
showing
thank
up.
you. Thank you.
Like I said, sorry I wasn't quite as attentive to the questions, but we had lots to get through here.
Yeah.
And everything I'm going to post up here and all that. No words of wisdom other than wash your hands a lot.
Yeah.
Properly.
Correctly, yeah.
Get what was it? The one soap that's like Dove.
Dove's a good one.
Dove, yeah,
is a good
Dove
one.
is really
Yes.
good because
Yeah.
it has the 1/4 moisturizing
Yeah,
cream. So
yeah,
I
that's a
find
good
that
one.
one. That's real popular up in Minnesota this time of year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Okay, if we don't stop now, we're just going to keep going until midnight.
Yeah. We totally could too.
Yeah, we could easily, especially because we still have beer left.
That's true.
Yeah.
True story.
Okay. All right. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Have a great, safe, wonderful life. We'll see you I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
And then we'll get Brandon back here
Yeah, no,
as
that sounds
soon
great.
as his wife will let him.
Yeah.
Okay. And now we pretend to smile until he stops streaming. Yeah.